Hey guys, it's Jason. This is an update video on the Protea shade house. Pardon the background noise, neighbors are doing some work. But come on in and then we're gonna take a look. It's been months since we've done that last one. But there's been a little bit of rearranging. This rack doesn't really have anything on it right now. Just you can see I'm working on some peperomias and some other plants. But because of some recent rains, I needed to make sure that my seeds weren't gonna get washed out in the storm. So just looks a little different than it was before. But yeah, let's get started here. We're gonna go through the cuttings. So these are my cuttings here on my philparvens. These look fantastic. I have a couple, you can see a couple that are really dried out, and some that aren't. I don't think this one's rooted, you can see there, but it looks callous, which is good. So I have hope. Let me just go ahead and put that right back in there. Okay, but then we have some that are actually doing really well. Let's take a look here. A lot of them have swollen, but some of them haven't really struck yet. So let me see which one would be a really good example here. Let's see. There you go. You can see here. You can see that little white tip right there. That is the root there, and the callousing has definitely started to be a lot more exaggerated on this particular cutting. So really exciting times here at this shade house with all the cuttings finally striking and all. So we're gonna definitely sit on this for a little longer. I'm gonna be trimming off all the dead bits to make sure that there's no diseases that transplant through or transmit through onto this next tray here. I've been getting really resounding success here with these. So this one here is called Rainbow. So I'm just gonna really work through here. I have a little fabric here that really, oh wow, it looks like I got two, or even one. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this one here. This one didn't strike yet. There we go. So for those of you that saw that picture on Planet Protea, you saw that picture of that rooted cutting that really did well. Let me show you here. So this, look at that, guys. Look at all those roots. That is about as prime as you can really get. Look at that, super long roots and everything. Foliage is nice and well hydrated. So this is a really strong cutting. So something like this I would be transplanting very soon, but for right now, I'm just gonna put this right here and I'm gonna get back to it at a later point. All right, I got my kings here. My kings are doing fantastic. I think at this point, I only have maybe a handful that have not rooted, but for the most of them, they have rooted here. So like, I think this is gonna be part of that handful that hasn't rooted, but let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this guy here. So, let's see, sturdy, but not rooted yet. There we go, this one's a really good one. So, just stick my finger in there and just do a little bit of loosening up here. Perfect. You can see a whole bunch of soil goes with it. That's always a good sign. But look at that, guys. Look at all those roots. You can see the nice red roots there. Those are really nice. Those are kind of where we describe them as like the proteoid roots, the cluster roots there. But a cutting like this is primed and ready to go. I mean, I'd be sticking this down almost immediately. But for right now, we're gonna return that back to the tray, cover it back up, and these will get a good misting in a little bit. All of these trays here, it's kind of the same story. These are actually newer ones that I just did, so they still need to sit a little longer before they strike. And same here, these guys are fairly recent as well. These discolors have been with me for a little bit. Let's see if these have struck. I know they've really been hanging on. Let's see. All right, look at that. Beautiful. Easy peasy. So that's going to be dependent on how well you dip these and you prep them. So, just stay tuned, guys. I will be doing a video on how to propagate these from cuttings. So I'll make sure that you guys can do the same in your gardens as well. Just going to return this discolor right back to the tray there. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the seeds. So first tray, we have some Susannias. It does say Magnifica. That actually just refers to these two. The one that is not labeled here are actually Laurifolias. I will be marking that at some point. But you can see the cuttings have gotten significantly larger. They're not those little bits of green that you saw in the last video. You can see now they've put on a nice little stem here. Let me find a really nice representative one right there. Look at that. So this is my finger here. That's going to be up to about halfway up the second knuckle there. So really strong cutting, really beautiful stem, sturdy. I'm jiggling this thing, it does not move whatsoever. So that's telling me that it's rooted very well. My magnificas are magnificent. Pardon the pun there. But you can see that is doing really well. You get the really furry leaf there. Very iconic and distinctive of the magnificas. They're so nice. And we're gonna move on to the next one just to keep a good pace here. I have like one Nerifolia here, maybe two that actually sprouted, but most of these are all kings. So these are kings from seedlings versus the kings from cuttings that I did on that other table. But you can see they're doing really well. Like this one, look at that, that's crazy. I mean, we never really think about them this size when you see the cut flower in the market or you have the plant in your yard, but you know, this is how they start out. Okay, moving down here, I have Protea acalos. This is that ground cover Protea. So far with their growth, it's been super weird. I mean, if you look at this container, you'll see that there is the seed coat there that's just still hanging out in the pot. But then there's the two seed leaves are kind of like the bunny ears sticking out. But right in the middle there, there's that little spike right in the middle. What that spike really is the true leaves starting to come out. And so, you know, just a fun attribute of this plant here. It's more ground cover, so I don't really know much about it yet. I just from some information from literature, but you know, as they grow, I can be able to do a little highlight video and you know, show you about this plant in further depth. This is Scolimacephala, the thistle leaf Protea, really tiny, especially when it started off. It's been growing fairly quickly, so I'm glad. But you can see nice even leaf spacing and everything, so I know that they're not lanky or they're not getting scorched in any way. Let's move on. This is my my traumatic story here come to life. These are my Aristadas. So I know I had a lot of trouble. You can see the true leaves are coming up right in the middle there. These were blown over in a really windy storm that we had, and I was just completely, you know, awestruck. I didn't know what to do, but I was able to salvage a bunch of those, and it looks like we've been getting really good success here. All of these are coming up nice and strong, no shock at all. So I'm really glad there. I was blessed with that luck. So we're gonna move up here. We have Scolimacephala, you have another one here. I have Rubra pilosa. Unfortunately, this is the one that is giving me some challenge. This is the one that hasn't really sprouted for me yet. However, I do have more seed coming in fairly soon. And I'm gonna try this one more time because it could be just kind of bad luck there, but I didn't seem to get anything going. I have heard that they're notoriously slow, so I'm gonna give them more time. Now for this next one here, this is Compacta. So Compacta, like you saw in the first video, and I kind of mentioned it in the unpackaging video, that they have really big seeds. You can see the seed coats on those are fairly large. But look at this plant. This is insane. It is a huge specimen. Yeah, this is my finger, my index finger here. That's going to be about 2 inches there in height there. But that is just beautiful. I mean, the leaves are looking real nice. Focus in here a little bit. You know, the fuzz that the leaves come with. But yeah, that's just a really strong seedling there. Okay, now moving up. Now this one is I call these my pride and joy. Right here, here's pride, here's joy. These are my Nerifolias. These are my 2 best specimens. You can see, let me get you in some sunlight here. Look at that, nice and tall, just about as tall as the Compactas. But compared to the seeds there, I would get how Compacta would get that big, that fast, has a lot more energy. But the Nerifolias, they sure just bolted and they're doing fantastic. Great height on them. They're really sturdy looking. There's no lanky behavior. They're not stretching for light because they're in shade or anything. The reason why the trays are actually arranged in such a manner is because it's still gonna be raining on our site for a little bit longer. So I just wanna make sure nothing gets crazy blown away in the meanwhile. But yeah, guys, this is so far the update of our grow house here. the shade house. And I hope to see you on the next video. Perhaps we're going to be doing some transplanting, get them into their 1-gallon cans. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to comment, let me know, and I'd be very happy to answer them for you. Thank you so much, guys.